What's good, y'all? I'm Chief the OG, and welcome back to the Rich Before 30 podcast. Today, we're picking up at page 12 of Chapter 1, Motivation, in the book Rich Before 30 by Gavin, Meredith. Today's topics are finding your passion, put yourself in an environment for success, avoid relying on outside resources, avoid getting ripped off from poor investments, don't get upset, take your losses as lessons, know your value, and know your worth. We're going to go into detail on these topics and also go through a quick recap. Last episode was about motivation. What motivates you? Inspiration. What inspires you? How to find your passion? Obstacles versus challenges. Changing your habits and creating your reality. How'd you do with the last topics? Have you found what really motivates you? Have you found what you're passionate about? Do you know what inspires you? Have you began changing your habits to see the results that you desire to see? Let's continue with Gavin Chief Meredith, Rich Before 30, Chapter 1, Motivation. Let's have a listen.
After my injury and my steps into the real world, I dropped out of school and began pursuing my passions full time. I began taking photos seriously and started filming music videos. Remember, my whole life I had been into music. From standing on soapboxes and singing at 5 years old to writing the class rap for my 5th grade class at 10 years old. In high school, I strongly drifted away from wanting to be a musical artist because of my belief that there were already too many. I thought that sports were my key to success. But when I lost sports, I found that all I had was myself and what I was truly passionate about. Being in the environment that I was in with my musical friends after my injury allowed me to reconnect with my love for music and songwriting. One day I received a call from a friend asking me to start a rap group with him. This call helped me step away from the camera and from my past thoughts and dreams of success in sports. My friend called me and told me the famous musician Ray J was looking to sign a new rap group. I thought to myself, it's been a while since Ray J released a hit song, and I relayed the same message to my friend. My friend told me that we should go for it in hopes that we would gain popularity, fame, and wealth. We have a good friend who produced music for Ray J, and he was able to play our music for him. Our producer friend told us that Ray J heard the song. He then turned to his artists whom were already signed to his label and asked them, how come we can't get something like this? This was all that came of the situation specifically, but for me it led to much more. I went on to release singles and perform shows in front of hundreds, which would soon turn to thousands of people. My first janky promoters encounter, I was promised a performance in return for my promotion. Let me say that after that day I did no more appearances for free. I showed up with my crew and we had to pay for our table and bottles. The club promoter who arranged the event told me that the manager would not let anyone else perform. Meanwhile, there was a DJ on stage and somebody performing as we walked in. Long story short, our bottle was wasted by somebody at a nearby table. The club manager offered to replace the bottle and never did. This is a series of unfortunate events. In the future, I would suggest when faced with adversity or upsetting situations to take the people or the offender out of the equation. If the bottle had spilled on its own of no one's fault, then we have no one to be upset with for spilling the bottle. Do we just buy another bottle? Or do we leave and get cheaper prices elsewhere? The same goes for me not being able to perform at this event. Whereas in this situation, I ended up being pretty upset. This led to me getting into an altercation and getting cut just below the throat. I could have lost my life. Glad I didn't. I would suggest today, after being told that I could not perform, I would just grab my crew and leave. There's nothing wrong with taking a loss. But if you know that you're going the wrong way, don't keep going to make a point. Stop, turn your ass around, and get the hell out of there. Once you're able to see that you are headed in the wrong direction, you must do everything in your power to turn around. If you were stuck in a vehicle that you knew was going to crash, would you stay in the vehicle or get the hell out and save yourself by any means? You have got to save yourself from pain, suffering, and living hell. I now have been able to purchase land and property, gain millions of plays on my music, and acted in movies and television. I'm way better off than I was 6 years ago when I made that club appearance. I say that to let you know that even people in good situations have it rough sometimes. There's no such thing as easy. Even if you have all the money, fame, or success you achieve, there are going to be struggles. It's not about being rich temporarily. I want to teach you how to be rich forever. When it comes down to it, you have to be willing and you have to be fearless. This book will help you learn these qualities. Part of me at times will wonder why no one else has this ambition like I do. How are people okay not chasing their dreams and living mediocre lives? The goals never end. Goal after goal after goal, the goals never end. You always have to plan for bigger and better, and that's okay. You're not crazy for wanting more. That's fuel. That's passion. Let that keep you going. You also have to make sure that you have positive and supportive friends. Some people will express their negative opinion by saying, oh, you can't do that because they don't think they themselves can. Know your value. You're worth it. Your happiness is worth it.
I am way better off than I was 6 years ago when I made that club appearance. I highlighted some points that stood out for me. I start off saying I began pursuing my passions full time. And this is true. I thought that football was my key to success. And as an athlete, you gotta get good grades to play sports. If your grades are below a certain level, they don't let you play. So I always got good grades specifically so I could play sports. Once I got injured, there was no need for me to be in school anymore in my head. I still went ahead and finished and got my degree, but at the time, I felt school was useless. So I went on to follow my passion. I got into filmmaking with some friends and honed in on my passion of filmmaking and photography. This allowed me to reconnect with my love for music and songwriting. Once you find what you're truly passionate about, or once you're on that journey, you may reconnect with your true passion and find what it is that you love doing, and you may reconnect with things that you grew up doing and find what it is that you truly love doing. I received a call from a friend asking me to join a rap group with him. Basically, Ray J, the artist. If you don't know who Ray J is, that's Brandy's brother. Moesha was a show in the late 90s, and Brandy was the star of the show. Her younger brother, Ray J, was also featured on the show. They're both musicians. And Ray J is also the co-star of Kim Kardashian's sex tape. We had a good friend who produced for Ray J, and that was our connection to Ray J. My point in mentioning Ray J at all is you want to put yourself in an environment for success. When I was done with sports and my athletic journey, I began finding my passion, and I placed myself in the musical environment, in the arts environment with filming, photography. I placed myself around people who were also into these same things. And you have to put yourself in an environment for success. You have to place yourself around people who will help you succeed. If you want to get rich, you hang around people who are rich. If you want to be a musician, you hang around musicians. If you want to be an athlete, you hang around athletes and practice. But you must put yourself in the position to succeed, to actually see the success that you desire. Believe that you can get paid for what you're passionate about. Google or YouTube and search ways that you can get paid doing what you love to do. I'm sure there's a way. More than likely, there's someone doing something similar. And if it's not exactly what you want to do or you see yourself doing, you can always reference and use what someone else does as inspiration. It might just give you that spark you need to get started. We're going to take a quick break and be right back after these messages. Our producer friend finally got to play the music for Ray J. Most musicians dream of getting their music heard by a big-time artist, and that leads to millions of dollars or a platinum song. Our friend who produced for Ray J actually got to play Ray J one of our songs. Ray J heard the song and then turned to his artist and said, "How come we can't get something like this?" And that was it. So all this work up in our minds and work in the studio, like, oh, we're going to have some hits to play Ray J so we can, whatever, get this deal and money, but that wasn't the case. So Ray J, he heard the song, and that was all that came of that. I went on to keep making music, even though Ray J didn't give us a record deal or anything. I kept making music and kept going after my dream. My friends and I were working on this music to get recognized by Ray J, hoping that it would lead to fame and fortune. But what it really led to was me being able to figure out that I'm really passionate about recording music. I really love music. And I didn't need Ray J to help me become successful in music. I didn't need anybody to co-sign. I just needed to believe in myself and go after my passion. So that would be my advice to you, is don't believe, oh, if someone just gave me a helping hand, or, oh, if I could just get it to these people, then I could then be successful. Believe in yourself and have faith that you can pull yourself out of the situation that you're in and into the situation that you want to be in. I ended up hosting a club event where I had to invite people and I was supposed to be performing. And upon arrival, the promoter let me know that I wouldn't be able to perform. For me, that was very disappointing because I had already promoted to my fan base that I would be performing at this event. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But today, after finding out that I couldn't perform at the event that I had promoted, I would absolutely leave. Given that my friends and I spent $600 on a table and bottle at a party and the bottle was spilled, it would have been in our best interest to just leave. Call the night, cut the night short. What it ended up leading to was an altercation that led to me getting cut right here a few years ago. I don't know if you can still see it, but that's pretty close to my neck and I could have been done. I'm glad I'm not. I could have been out of here. But the key is to avoid getting ripped off from poor investments. So invest wisely. Simply, instead of relying or searching for a club to host an event, if I host the event myself, there's no question as to if I'm performing. Don't get upset. In this situation, we got upset and it led to an altercation with the club manager and the security. This led to me getting cut below the neck, almost losing my life. Glad I did. You got to learn to take losses and move on. I mentioned in the book that if you're in a car that's going to crash, do you stay in the car or do you jump the hell out and save yourself? You got to save yourself from pain, suffering, and living hell. And to do that, you have to cut yourself off from negativity. When you see something going bad or going downhill, when you see a situation going downhill, remove yourself from the situation. It's okay to take a loss, but take it as a lesson. Learn from it and keep pushing forward towards your goals. Followed by saying, I don't want to teach you how to be rich temporarily or get rich quick. I want to teach you how to be rich and stay rich forever. The goals never end. I would suggest creating a vision board with 10 to 12 goals, one for each month of the year. I started with a small list, and once I knocked out the small list, I started another. Same goes for you. You start with a small list, and once you accomplish the things on your list, begin again. You may start with a small list of goals that you had planned to take a long time to finish, but you realize that it didn't take as long as you expected. This is okay. Make new goals for yourself and continue accomplishing your goals. Make sure you're doing what you're passionate about. Surround yourself with supportive friends. If your friends are busy saying, oh no, I don't think you can do that, they probably think they themselves can't, but that doesn't mean you can't. Know your value. Know your worth. You're worth it. Your happiness is worth it. If you haven't already, be sure to pick up a copy of my book, Rich Before 30 by Gavin, Chief Meredith, available on Amazon. I'm CHIEFtheOG, and this is Rich Before 30 Podcast. See you next time.